Starting off big in this update as it's time to strap on your jetpacks, arm your lasers, and get ready for an epic new hero, Rosalia.
This is the first below average hero we've gotten so far.
5% price reduction is just not good at all. I don't really know who would want it.
What's not to like about making one of the most expensive tier 5s in the game 30% cheaper, right? But the thing is, it's almost useless.
I'm a little late to the party, aren't I? And to be honest, I'm kind of happy I am. Rosalia isn't in a good place at the moment. The community unanimously agrees she is underwhelming. The tier list Discord has ranked her as a B-, and Reddit continues living up to its name. So I made this video to argue why Rosalia has the foundations of a great hero. It's just her execution is not where it needs to be. So let's get right into it. Regardless of what game you're playing, Rosalia starts off with a good old laser blaster. At base, it's a 3 damage, 3 pierce weapon, with the stopping power of a superheated marshmallow. However, it has decent late game stalling potential if you micro it correctly. Meanwhile, Rosalia's grenade launcher takes the opposite route by being surprisingly consistent across all levels. It starts off with the power similar to a base bomb shooter, but it builds into a ceramic cleaning machine. But its over-reliance on flight boost makes it fall off during late game. What I like about these weapons is that they can be fluently swapped around at any given time with a quick tap of her monkey special. So when the situation calls, you can quickly adapt to the bloom popping power you need. However, the strangest part of these weapons is how they level up. Like most heroes, they receive incremental buffs to keep their damage up with the pace of the game, but most of their power is tied to 2 upgrades. Level 5 introduces the special enhanced shot and bouncing grenades, while level 13 is the late game equivalent of level 5, giving both weapons a healthy stat boost and tweaking both her projectiles to give enhanced knockback and cluster explosions. These upgrades are great when you get them, but how strong are they in the long run? The truth is, they are rather weak. After testing on chimps and Impoppable, she averaged around 300k pops on single lane tracks, while a lot less on harder or multi-lane tracks. Rosalia's supportive capabilities and short range are partially the reason why she is an offensive powerhouse, but given she has 3 damage based abilities, it's not that good of a return for a hero that requires active micro to be functional. Speaking of abilities, let me give a quick speed run on how I feel about them. Scatter Missiles, Rosalia's oh shit something leaked ability. Its constant AoE and stuns are very useful for Moab and ceramic cleanup, but its slight weakness to fortifieds and long cooldown isn't fun to play with. Next up we have Flight Boost, aka Rosalia's Zoomies ability. Although the change to Pursuit does come with its quirks, at face value it's really fun to play because double guns plus global range is an effective combo for mid to late game cleanup. The only problem I have is that the flight boost buff to all nearby aircraft is straight up useless.
Objection!
During editing, I had a slight revelation why the ability wasn't working as it's supposed to. Turns out, flight boost is currently bugged. When activated for the first time, the ability gives nearby aircraft a speed boost as expected, but when the flight boost ends, the buff doesn't expire. Using the ability again doesn't do anything, but if you back out and reload the save, the buff is removed. I don't know why it took me this long to find this out, but at least we get a taste of what the buff can do if it was permanent. Now back to the video. The last ability in Rosalia's arsenal is her Kinetic Charge. Don't get me wrong, it's a powerful ability, but at times it feels a bit too powerful for its own good. It has enough maximum potential damage to clear ZOMGs, but the damage doesn't skip layers, so it has the tendency of creating swarms of ceramics. While I do wish it received something to make it a little more versatile, in its current state, the Kinetic Charge's usefulness is limited to low RBE rounds. Now the main thing that really grinds my gears about Rosalia is her movement. It's clunky, unintuitive, and held back in a lot of places it shouldn't be. Firstly, Rosalia's base movement speed is so goddamn slow. It's almost like watching a 3-hour unskippable cutscene. It's just unbearable. Secondly, why can't she shoot while repositioning? Helly and Ace, the monkeys she is based on, don't have this downside built in. If Ninja Kiwi made the Sky Shredder stop shooting while repositioning, there will be riots in the streets. But with Rosalia, it's balanced all of a sudden? It just doesn't make sense. And finally, why can't Rosalia use abilities while moving? This feature is the sole reason why Flight Boost can't have 100% uptime, which requires an Energizer, by the way. Another thing that's in line for a change is her Adrenaline Rush. Many of you might suspect that it's bugged, but surprisingly, it works as intended. Just not well. At all. Adrenaline Rush only counts the balloons that are inside her attack range, which is fuck all. But you also need to cram 40 balloons to trigger the maximum 20% extra attack speed boost. Not to mention the cap and boost are doubled with upgrades. I am no rocket scientist, but 80 balloons in that space is a death sentence for most setups. And before I get that one comment, free play does exist, but it's clear Rosalia wasn't designed for it. If I could tweak Adrenaline Rush, I would at the very least include the workshop's range as a part of the calculation. But given these upgrades are so empty to begin with, maybe just add some small bonuses to aircraft, like a normal support hero. Heck, maybe start with some pierce and attack speed buffs for the earlier levels, while making level 17 increase damage. But that's just my opinion, so take that with a grain of salt. And the last bonus Rosalia provides is her discounts. Now don't get me wrong, they are decent, but not in the state that I would say are useful. Aircraft efficiency is the first discount she unlocks, and it reduces the price of all Heli and Ace upgrades by 5%. On one hand, it's great. Saving a couple of thousand on some of the most expensive upgrades in the game isn't too shabby at all. But it's kind of shit for anything below tier 4. I get that it's supposed to be a supplement to villages, not a replacement, but at the very least it should provide a bit more of a discount to tier 1 to 3s. On the other end of the spectrum, we have Rosalia's gimmick discount, Guardian Automatron. While getting a 30% discount on a once extremely expensive upgrade is huge, getting access to said discount is an equally monstrous task. To reliably reach level 20, Rosalia requires full monkey knowledge and at least advanced XP scaling. So for most maps, you are either forced to purchase an Energizer or pump some money into her. I will defend the former because the global cooldown reduction and effective decamo mostly counteracts the downside of losing money overall, while the latter is just a complete waste of money. Ignoring the fact that the cost of one level negates the point of the discount, most of Rosalia's upgrades after 15 are underwhelming anyway, so you aren't really getting your money's worth. Overall, Guardian Automatron is more of a gimmick rather than a coherent strategy, but it's nice to see a non-temple monkey make a discount to a tier 5 upgrade. So JWags, what do you think of Rosalia? Well, I think she's decent, but she has the potential to be much better. As much as Ninja Kiwi has pushed it, Rosalia isn't entirely a set and forget hero. The versatility of her movement and complexity of her abilities makes her more fitting of a beginner micro hero. Rosalia has the mechanical depth that far surpasses Quincy, but she isn't overwhelming to learn like Geraldo and Corvus. With some buffs and quality of life changes, Rosalia would be a solid hero for all players. But for now, she isn't very good. For everyone still watching, thank you for making it to the end. It means a lot. Analysing a hero to this level is very tedious and time consuming while trying to stay under the 10-minute mark. But otherwise, I will return to my month-long slumber and I'll see you all in the next video.